All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, Play Fast Football. All right, today we're going to be doing a Patreon-only video on drop-back passing. I'm going to go through 3 different drop-back passing schemes that we use, and then I'm going to take you through clip by clip some actual video clips and footage of us running the schemes last year. So today we're going to talk about curl spot flat, which is similar in theory to curl flat, but we run it as curl spot flat, pushing it back as opposed to curl flat and then the check down coming from the back. All right, we're going to talk about 3-man snag, and then we're going to talk about 4 verticals. So for us last year, we were not a heavy drop back team. Quarterback was about 5'8". Offensive line was we were brand new at every position, no returning starters, so thought protection was going to be an issue. Quarterback not being very tall, we thought seeing through the line and finding passing lanes and windows was going to be a little bit of an issue. So we carried more RPOs, quick game, tried to move the pocket a little bit here and there, but we did. In certain games and situations, we had to be able to use drop back passes. So what I'm going to talk about today is just 3 simple concepts that we use, and we try to keep it as simple for the quarterback as we can. So when we talk about curl spot and then some of the things we do in 3-man snag, what we're talking about is just simple east-west, horizontal reads where we're trying to put guys in windows across spots on the field. So we're trying to occupy a hook window, a curl window, a flat window, and we're trying to get us based on coverage. We're trying to get us into situations where we have more routes horizontally than they have defenders to cover. Okay, so when we run curl spot, we're going to run 12 back to 10 curl on the outside. We usually don't run it off a post stem. We're going to run a 6-yard inside spot and try and get over the play side guard or occupy that first inside linebacker if it's a 2 linebacker or a two backer box inside that first backer. As soon as he leaves, we check it down, or if he stays inside, we try to work at least to the guard, because this concept really is about the spacing of the routes and where we're trying to get. All right, a big key, and I'm going to show you in the video us not doing a very good job of it with the tailback and the quarterback at times, but big key with the back is we push him, which means before the snap we send him in motion full speed, and then we're trying to get him, all right, especially with the ball in the middle, we're trying to get him out towards the numbers. Okay, so basically we're trying to get him outside of that number 1 before he ever turns up the field. So if the ball was on the hash, we would probably try and get him 3 to 4 yards outside the hash before he turns up. If the ball was in the middle or into the boundary, we would use the numbers as our guideline before he turns up. And I'm going to show you in the clips that we watched after this video, when I go and show you the video clips from us doing it last year. Our guys always want to turn up early, and they ruin the spacing of what we're trying to do. And then when they do get wide enough, when we turn up too quick, now the throw ends up being wide and down the field. And I'll show you how I think it should be done, where we should be going, trying to get to, and then I'll obviously you'll be able to see what we're doing and the things that you got to clean up when you're talking about these these schematical issues with spacing concepts and where you're trying to get to. And when I show those, and we only do this on Patreon, I don't do any of this on YouTube. When I show video clips of us playing, you're going to see that there's a lot of things that need a lot of work. So no matter how much we think we practice these things or we've gone over them, kids are kids. They get into games, and you really have to be diligent about the effort you're putting in. And we didn't put enough effort into drop back passing, and that's why we really struggle in some of these areas with the back getting where he needs to be, and sometimes the routes and the landmarks of them and the depths of them. When you're throwing the football and trying to throw it effectively, when you space the field out, this route's got to be 6, this is 12 to 10, this has got to push those numbers. And it's got to be there every time to get proper spacing. And you got to understand where you're on the field so the kids understand where they need to be to create that same spacing on the field. So on the backside, we're usually going to run some type of post wheel, curl wheel. Occasionally we might run check downs, but what we're going to do on the backside is we're going to build something in. So if we start getting man free, or if we start getting pressure or man defenses, we're going to build some answers in on the backside to where we can, possibly keep a back in, max protect, call this concept, and give us a rub shot play that's already built into the concept, so we don't have to come up with another play. So I'm going to carry this rub on the backside with post wheel or curl wheel to try and get this number 2. If we get a man matchup or something we like, we can call this concept, but tell the quarterback that we want to go back here to the shot because we're getting, and he also understands if he's getting a zero look or a man-to-man look and there's no there's no high safeties and these guys will walk down playing man, he should know to be able to come down and check his rub side and take that rub. So we usually build the backside that way, trying to build a shot into a play so that if we needed a rub route or wanted to take a shot rather than design another play, we've already got it on the backside if we have 2 receivers on the backside. If we only have 1, we might run a curl to give the quarterback a 4th check down, or we might run a post to give us a shot over the top. But when we're in our drop back passing game, we are really focused on predominantly half field stuff. Like 1, 2, 3 is about all we're going to get to. All right, with our quarterback, and I'll show you when you see it on film. Our protection is not very good. I think protection in high school is very tough. So, 1, 2, 3, quarterback get the heck out is probably what you're looking at in high school. I don't know if we ever get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in our progression in high school football. That's just us in my experience. So curl flat for us is going to be, curl spot flat is going to be a spacing deal, trying to get somebody inside. All right, so in this coverage right here, all right, what you got to worry about is this free safety being a robber player to rob the curl. But essentially what you're trying to do, if this free safety isn't in the equation right now, what you're trying to do by pushing the back, you're trying to get the dollar to widen. Okay, and then by running the spot, you're trying to eat the mic up with the spot. So now when you go curl flat with proper spacing, the dollar is the guy that has to be, all right, the movement key, the guy that you're looking at to see what he does. He widens and expands with the back, you throw the curl. He sits in the curl window, you throw the ball to the back. Again, in this coverage, what you would have to worry about, all right, is you would have to worry about that free safety being a robber. And one of the ways that you can take care of that, if you feel comfortable that the mic can't get to the curl window, is in this coverage you could always run, we'll tag a bender or a post in there by 2 to occupy the safety. And if we don't think the mic can get to the curl window, we'll just make it 2-on-1 on the underneath flat defender, that apex curl flat defender right there, or that push 3 player. Because when we get certain pattern match coverages, because we play them, we know that when we push the back, we're probably going to get a match. Now, if we were getting an invert or a spin down to this side, then we would have things where on the spin, we'd have to be looking at the other side, and we'd have things built in to go away from the tailback motion because of the spin. But most times we're going to get pushes by linebackers. We're not going to get heavy rotational spins. Okay, so, in film, you'll see us a lot of the times, we'll get into 2-back. All right, if we want to make it, sometimes protection, if we're worried about protection, all right, we might take that route out of there, put a fullback in somewhere, and now we might get into, running it out of 2-back where we run it, again, same way. We run a spot there. We can put the tailback out. We can use that fullback to pass protect for backers. Okay, we could switch. We could keep the tailback in, not use motion, and push the fullback to the flat and keep the tailback in, double read there. We're going to turn the center away from the front side of the passing play to the back side, and we're going to zone that out, half slide, and then we're going to be big on big. So we're going to be big on the front side, center turn to create this zone on the back side there, and they pick up whatever shows from A gap to B gap to C gap on the back side, and then our quarterback's going to be responsible for, if we got another back end, and this is a 6-man protection, all right, then that back that's in is going to check Mike to Sam. If one of them comes, we pick it up. If they both come, we got to throw the ball hot. Okay, so it's our basic curl spot flat. It's an east-west read. It's a leverage read. All right, you're making it real simple on the quarterback. If you got an 8-man front like this, and again, got to understand what this free safety's doing to make sure that he can't rob that curl. All right, but again, situation like this, you're trying to put the spot route inside to eat up the mic. Push the flat route to get to Sam to see what he does with leverage. You get him leverage, you throw the flat. He moves with leverage, you throw the curl, as long as you understand how to get him out of there. And I just drew up a way to get him out of there. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to run our 3-man snag. All right, and this is where we hang our hat on this play when we go drop back. I think it's very versatile. I think it has a lot of versatility within the routes that you're building in. I think it gives you flexibility. We tag it with a couple different concepts. So what I'm talking about here is I'm talking about a snag route by 1, 6 yards, a 10-yard corner by 2, a push flat to the numbers by the back. We're going to run snag corner mirrored on the backside with our same half slide protection. All right, so now we're talking about our 3-man snag route. All right, why do we like it? It's the same theory right away. It gives us an easy east-west horizontal read on that apex defender. If he pushes with the motion, the snag's going to come open. We throw the snag right underneath. If he hangs in the snag window and we get leverage, all right, now we can throw the ball to the back. If it's any type of corner down coverage where we think we can throw this ball, corner follows the snag, or corner jams like a cover 2, we've got the corner out to throw right over the top. For us, against the teams that we play, unless we're seeing some version of man, we very rarely get to the corner out because we see a lot of pattern match with the corner off. As soon as the corner's off, unless he follows, we know that we're probably going to go snag flat right now. So when we get corner off, we very rarely ever get to this route. I think I have one clip on there where I can show you the corner following and us throwing the corner on time. But it's mainly there for the snag route and the push route. It's there as an east-west horizontal read. It's there to keep it similar. It's really the same read for the quarterback as curl flat. All right, it's not much different at all. And then what we got to be able to do is understand how to handle the mic so that if the mic pushes and we get pattern match, Sam push, mic push, now we got to have answers. One of the things we can do is we could read away from the mic, all right, and we could build answers on the backside. So you might come on the backside here with a levels theory. So you go 10-yard dig, 5-yard fin, read away from the mic if the mic pushes on motion. So I motion this back out, and you'll see on film, we love early motioning the back to declare coverage. If the Sam pushes and the mic pushes, now we throw away from the mic and we try and get a high-low. All right, usually if it's too high, split field like this, we're going to get this look, and now mic goes that way. We would then try to get a high-low on the will on the backside, and we would just call that tag levels. So we would call our 3-man snag, and then we would make a levels tag, okay? We could also, if we start to get one high concepts, if we start to get one high, whether it be man free or some type of rip liz match 3 deep or something else, if we start getting one high concepts, what we can then do is we can make this a total spacing concept. And now with one simple tag, we take the corner out off of this, and now we go back and run spot just like we did on the curl. So we go spot here. So now we got snag, spot, flare, all right, and now that becomes a simple spacing deal. All right, so that's just a simple spacing concept where you go snag, spot, flare. All right, so I'll write it down here for you as well. So we might have a levels tag for the backside. All right, we might have our spacing concept tag there. Okay. Back to split field. When we get split field stuff, and I think I have at least one clip of each of these. When we get split field stuff, so now we're talking about this middle of the field open coverage like this. We like to exploit that middle of the field. One of the ways we'll do it is with what we call a shake. All right, so we'll go corner post with that number 2. All right, so we'll come back and we'll call shake. Okay, so the 3-man snag for us, we carry about 5 or 6 different tags. It is our bread and butter in the drop back passing game. We run it more than anything else, and it carries a bunch of tags because it's simple and it attacks everything we want to attack. So middle of the field open, we go with, all right, a shake concept. One of the other things we'll do to middle of the field open, all right, is we'll run a wiggle concept or a burst concept where we'll come inside here, we'll settle this snag down, and then we'll bang it right back to the middle of the field, because if they're going to be middle of the field pattern match, what's going to happen now is this dollar nickel is going to push with the back, the mic's going to try and find a snag, free safety's going to run with the corner, and now the mic ends up man-to-man on the snag on our best receiver. And I have a clip of that on there for you guys to see. And then if we're getting man-to-man, all right, so again, if we start getting maybe an aggressive man-free where we've got that there, that there, that there, maybe the dollar here, the corner here, free safety in the middle of the field, now what we'll do is we'll call, all right, we'll just tag wheel. So we got levels on the backside, spacing front side, shake by number 2 front side, and then wheel. And when we run wheel, what we'll do is we'll take the number 2 and we'll try and rub off number 1 and run the wheel route, because now if we're getting man-to-man, we get a natural rub. All right, so we're looking for that natural rub. So now within the 3-man snag, we've got levels to read away from the mic. We've got spacing to make it a true spacing concept. Shake for middle of the field open. All right, we've got the wiggle tag for the Z on middle of the field open, and we've got the wheel tag so that when we're getting man-to-man, we now create natural rubs. So 3-man snag for us it will be most of the clips in our drop back game, and it's for me, it's my go-to. It's what I carry. I carry it with a bunch of tags, and I know how I want to attack one high and two high and middle of the field open. So 3-man snag for us is our bread and butter go-to. All right, and then this year, for the first time in a while, I carried 4 verticals, and I'll tell you why. Because of our ability to throw so many RPOs, we got a lot of man free and a lot of one high defense. So we got this look, a bunch that we never used to get to this set. All right, so we got more of those looks, all right, to this because of our RPO game and some other things that we did. So we put 4 verticals back in, and we made it a replay for the outside guys. So we're going vertical if we can get by. If not, we're turning it into a comeback. So if we can get even, we're leaving. If not, we're coming back. All right, the front side vertical is always for us the possible bender if the seam is closed. All right, the back side is kind of the lock seam where he's there. All right, the front side's the bender. For us, when we run 4 verts, we normally keep the back in because I'm calling this play when it's one high and I know that I'm getting one high and I'm trying to beat that free safety or come to the comebacks at the corner's midpoint. So I don't even need the back. A lot of times the back should be a check down guy where the back, again, we would have slide this here, man here, man here. All right, running back has Mike the Sam, and then after that, if he gets out, he may want to sit it down somewhere in there, or he may want to work some type of option route off of a linebacker. But you don't need to push the back in motion like we did on the other 2 because I'm not looking for horizontal space now. I'm talking about vertical shots. All right, so I'm looking, if I go vertically, I'm looking to put another route underneath it so the tailback would be on some type of check down or underneath route because by pushing him wide when you're running vertical concepts, I don't need spacing this way. I'm trying to get it north and south vertically that way so I don't push the back. A lot of times we just leave them in protection and we don't even release them because I know if it's one high and I'm throwing 4 verts, I know I'm telling the quarterback, you get a matchup you like, free safety leans, throw away from him. Okay, you don't like a matchup, corners are off, throw the comeback. Okay, so for us, 4 verticals, we don't spend a ton of time throwing 4 verticals. It's an answer to one high. But we do work on the timing, and we work on the outside guys, even I'm leaving or running the comeback, and then we work on the bender, understanding whether the seam is closed. One thing we're always going to stress with 4 verticals is the landmarks. So this has got to be outside the numbers. Okay, you have got to get this guy, I think, somewhere either on the hash or just inside the hash. So these guys got to understand where they are on the field and where they have to work to if they have to stem their routes because 4 verticals is a play that is a landmark-based play. So you've got to be outside the numbers, on the hash, or whatever your landmark is, a yard inside the hash, a yard outside the hash, whatever it is, a yard outside the numbers, you got to make sure that they hit that. They just can't line up anywhere they want on the field and rip vertical because 4 vertical is a landmark play based on the fact that there's 1 high or 3 deep. And we know where the seams are, we got to split the field up to make sure, based on the markings on the field, we're giving that free safety, all right, and that corner, whoever's trying to midpoint or whatever they're trying to do, you got to give them the farthest stretch you can possibly give them to make them cover all that ground. So when we do rep 4 verts, we're going to rep a ton, getting landmarks on the hash, getting landmarks on the numbers on both sides, and then we're going to work that front side bender, understanding if the seam is closed or not, and we're not going to get that much more complicated or difficult from there because 4 verticals for us is an answer when we're getting a lot of 1 high, but it's not something we want to live on. We're not an air raid team. We don't live off of 4 verts with a lot of variations or a lot of checkdowns or built-in route conversions. That's not who we are. It's not what we do. So when we're running 4 verts, there's just a couple simple checkpoints that we have to understand that we get to, and then we kind of just roll with the play from there. All right, so what I'm going to do after this, guys, you're going to see a video of me talking through us running some of these drop back concepts and going through all the clips, and I'll show you the good, the bad, and the ugly, all right, like we always do, and that's the benefit of being on Patreon. None of my YouTube videos ever get, they never get game clips. I don't discuss game clips on there. Now I'm going to take you on Patreon. I'm going to take you not only through the whiteboard, but I'm going to take you through the game clips, and you'll get to see us using them, which I think is important because I can tell you everything I want on the whiteboard. If I don't have any evidence or any proof of what's good, bad, and ugly to show you the realities of high school football, it doesn't make it worthwhile or it's not prevalent anymore. So I'm going to show you what we struggle with, what we do well, what we do poorly, and the everyday struggle that is coaching high school football when it comes to certain schemes and certain things that you're doing. So I appreciate you guys being on Patreon. You get some benefits that nobody else gets. Remember to check out again some of our sponsors that help us with things like PlayFast. All right, PlayFast is our hat sponsor. Make sure if you need hats for anything in your line of work, or if you're a coach or whatever you're doing, make sure you check out Dome Hats. Dome Hats sponsors everything we do in our PlayFast football company. So make sure you check out Dome Hats. If I screwed it up earlier and I said PlayFast, it's Dome Hats who make our PlayFast hats is what I meant to say. So make sure you check out Dome Hats, www.domeheadwear.co. They got a great custom online hat builder. You can generate any custom hat you want, change the color of the bills, the panels, the buttons up top, the eyelets or the mesh holes, the stitching. It's amazing what they can do with a custom hat. So make sure you check out Dome if you have any hat wear needs. All right, I appreciate everything you guys do on the Patreon channel, trying to bring it to another level, do more things. Remember, we got a clinic coming up next week. I'm going to have a podcast that comes out before it, mashup podcast that comes out after it. The Q&A will be done sometime probably next week before the clinic kicks off. We'll do the live Q&A, and then immediately the week after the clinic, before February kicks off, I'm going to try and get some type of webinar with a guest speaker up there to do a webinar. So appreciate everything you guys do. Remember that everybody's down to, there's only one tier now. Everybody's a $5 customer. So next month, when it comes out, if your bank statement says 10 or 15, make sure we got to contact somebody, because everybody now is a tier 1 $5 sponsor, and you get everything that all the other tiers get. So I know we had one user who had a problem, and he had to drop out and join again. And when he joined back, he said, I don't want to be a $5 member. I want to be a $15 member. $5 members, $10 members, $15 members, everybody's getting the same thing. We wanted everybody on the same page, and we wanted to create stuff for everybody on Patreon without having to pay an arm and a leg. So made a change. Everybody's going to be down to $5. So check your February statement to make sure you only paid $5. Thanks for everything you guys do. I hope this video helps. Remember that there'll be video clips right after that. You won't play well. See you play fast. Catch you guys next time. All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac. All right, going to be back with the. I'm going to do the video portion now of these clips that we talked about on the whiteboard, and I'm going to go through some of the curl spot flats and the snag, 3-man snag stuff, and then the 4 verticals that we were talking about on the whiteboard. So we'll take you through the good, the bad, the ugly, what we like with it and what we don't like with it. So let's check out a couple. All right, so you can hear we're in 2x2. All right, you can see us pushed it back early like I talked about in the video. So we're going to push it back early, and we're going to try and see if we can get that leverage to change, see if we can get those linebackers to push or match. Now, remember we said when the ball's kind of towards the middle of the field, I would like this running back to get out by the numbers before he thinks about doing anything. So watch what happens here. All right, so look how early he turns up before the numbers there. All right. And then he starts working his way down the field, which is what we don't want, because right now, all right, they've messed up the distribution a little bit. They've got nobody matching the running back to the flat. All right, so they've got their kind of a 4-4-3 deep team. So this outside backer here doesn't match the distribution of the back to the flat and pass off this spot route, all right, to the inside backer there. So the back is where we want him in the flat. If he just goes to the numbers and stays wide, and we can complete that pass out there, it's going to force them eventually to adapt and match the push of the back. So he turns up too soon, and by the time the quarterback throws this ball, now this is still a ball. I think we complete this pass. This is a ball the quarterback in high school should be able to put on this kid's numbers. All right, it's not that far of a throw. All right, but the timing and the footwork of what the quarterback is thinking about doing and where he wants to throw that ball is a little bit different, because he's used to throwing it flat towards the sideline. So you can see right there, by pushing the back, we're running our curl spot. So there's our curl route, there's our spot route. All right, so they kind of bust the coverage a little bit. We actually have the curl route and the tailback route. So you can see right there what we're doing to kind of expand. All right, so we complete the pass for about a 9-yard gain, but if the quarterback puts that on his face mask and he's able to catch that, it's one-on-one with that corner. But what we're also doing is we're setting up things for later down the road, all right, within our passing game. All right, so here we are in 2x2 again. All right, push the back. I don't like this back settling down. This is not good. This back should be continuing to push with the ball on the hash. He should get about 3 yards wider than the hash, then start to make his way up. All right, so you can see right here we're running 3-man snag. So number 2's running the corner. Number 1's running the snag. Back is pushing the flat. Right, so you can see when the back pushes the flat, they're now taking that outside backer and they're starting to match that flat route. All right, and then this inside backer, for whatever reason, instead of pushing to the snag, he kind of runs to the number 2 vertical. So there's the snag right there that sits down, all right, wide open in that window, and then we're able to get the ball into the hands of one of our playmakers. So an easy throw there on the 3-man snag. What you're anticipating on a defensive side, what you're anticipating is you're anticipating that if this outside backer matches the back, this inside backer is probably going to push to match this snag, and this corner will bail out to play that corner out. That's what you're expecting in a route distribution theory, so that when we go to when we talked about the snag spot, which I think I have on here a few clips of that, then you would go to snag spot on these 2 underneath droppers with a back in the flat, and they don't have enough underneath players to play. All right, so that's just simple 3-man snag. And I put the ball in the hands of a playmaker and let him do his thing. All right, so here we are in 2x2 again. All right, now we're going to throw 4 verticals. So remember, we talked about on the whiteboard, we like to leave our running back in when we run 4 verticals because we want to take shots down the field. And when we do so, we want the quarterback to be protected, and we don't need the wide leverage. We don't need the back pushed wide, because pushing him wide and making the underneath part of the coverage match doesn't really do us a lot of good when we're talking about trying to throw vertical routes down the field. So we don't need that wide horizontal stretch. If anything, we would need him to check down and run some type of route either under here or under here, all right, so that if everybody drops or all the linebackers drop and bail, we have a check down to throw. So what you're going to see here is corners off. So our outside receiver is going to make the determination that he can't get by that corner, so he's going to sit it down. All right, so remember, we give the outside guys the choice. If he's even, you're leaving. They both get to a point here where the corners are on top and bailing, so they both sit it down. We throw the comeback. Again, put it into a player's hands and let him make things happen. Okay, so, all right, here's 2x2 again. We're going to push the back. And this is snag spot that we talked about. So what you're going to see here is this is 3-man snag with a variation to where instead of running the corner out, the inside guy is going to run spot. So we're going to go snag in here. All right, we're going to go spot into here. And we're going to push the back wide to the numbers. Sorry, that's too wide on the drawing, but you can kind of get the idea. It's hard to draw when I'm using the mouse. So we push the back. So now nobody matches the back. The corner's following the wide out. The inside backer matches the spot. Nobody matches the back. Put the ball on his chest and let's go. All right, maybe a guy off the edge kind of giving the quarterback some issues there. All right, that ball, if you're going to drop back and throw the ball and put the tailback in the flat, these are balls that have to be complete. Okay, so now you're going to take a look at 3x1 running 4 verticals. Remember, we said one of the keys to verticals was landmark. So we need this outside route to be just outside the numbers. We need this one to be pushing the hash. We need this one to be pushing opposite hash at about 18. And we need this one to be working bottom side of the numbers here, okay, so that we get the proper spacing. So you're going to see 3x1. We're going to leave the back in again. If we did anything with the back after a check down, it would be a spot route or something underneath, all right? And now what you're going to see is the quarterback look to the 3x1 side. He gets a safety that bails to the 3x1 side, so your QB is going to come back to the single. All right, sorry with this stadium that we missed that catch, but that ball was caught by the X. See if we can go through the protection a little bit here. This one picks up late, so I'll do protection on another one, but it's going to be half slide with the back away from where the center turns. So the quarterback looks off the 3x1 side, comes back to the single, likes his matchup. Now, again, sorry, let me go back to that. Just so you can see at the line of scrimmage that the X is getting pressed. So when he gets pressed like that, as soon as he gets into his route, he's already even, so you can assume he's leaving. So there is no comeback route here. This is going to be vertical all the way, because once he gets into his press release, he's already about even. So we're not even thinking about coming back on this. This is going to be vertical all the way. All right, so here we are again in 3x1. All right, so again, what you got here is you're getting into like a 5-man front. So what ends up happening now is basically our 5 up front are going to be locked on their 5, and then our back is going to have either the 2 inside backers or the first backer play side, because now they're rushing 5. You can see how it starts to cause people problems, because the center thinks he's turning backside, but he's actually covered, and it's a double eagle, 4 eyes, whatever you want to look at it. It's a 5-man rush. So now we've got a fan outside. So we've got to take our guard and tackle and fan them outside. All right. So now you get a free runner, but our running back is smart enough to help pick this up. And now we go with 3-man snag out of 3x1. So this becomes snag in here, corner, bubble. Nobody matches the bubble, so you put the ball out on the bubble in space. And again, this is what you get when you've got good players. Quarterback's got to be able to make these throws, put the ball out into their hands in space. All right, so there it is. You got 3 defenders over 2. All right, 1 defender kind of follows the snag route. 1 defender sinks on the corner. So the quarterback knows now they got nobody matching, all right, where the bubble is. So you just put it on the bubble and let a player run. Always think about players, not plays. You know, when you get into these situations, all the theories and all the X's and O's, that stuff is great. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, when you need to make plays, think about the players and the guys that you're trying to get the ball into their hands, because that's really what's most important. So that kid's one of our better players. 20's one of our better players. Figure out a way for them to get open, put the ball in their hands, and let them play. So think players, not plays. So now middle of the field open, you can see here, what do I mean by middle of the field open? Safety, safety, too high, middle of the field, open. So we talked about it on the whiteboard. We're going to run our shake concept here. So now we're going to take this number 2 and we're going to go corner, post here. We're going to take this safety out with the corner. We're going to run the snag underneath. We're going to run the snag underneath here. And now we're going to look to go one-on-one with this safety to the bottom. We're going snag, corner. I'm sorry, corner, post, middle of the field open. All right, so we knew we were getting middle of the field open. We had been in 2x2 a bunch. We had run some 3-man snag stuff, so we knew what we were getting, how they were trying to play it. All right, so we came back middle of the field open, and we went to, all right, we went to the shake, corner post. Great throw, good route by that kid, gets us 6 points towards the end of the half. All right, so here's a comeback theory off of your verticals. All right, so this is not 4 verticals. This is actually max protection 2 back. All right, pushing down. We got the ball back. We scored a touchdown with about a minute and a half and left in a half, and then we got the ball back with 20 seconds left and thought we might have had a chance to push for a field goal. So what we did was we ran the way they were playing the coverage late in the half. They had 2 high safeties really deep, corners were off. So we just pushed the comeback. That this was comeback the whole way. We were running post over dig here, all right, but we were throwing comeback the whole way because we also wanted to get out of bounds, get the clock to stop. So we took that one-on-one matchup. Wasn't really wasn't one of the concepts we talked about on the board today, but you can see here it's just straight drop, comeback, complete that ball, get us a few more and get out of bounds because it's the end of the half. So we were pushing for a field goal here in this situation. Thought we can get a field goal late. All right, so here's one that we didn't talk about on the board today, but I'm going to tell you why we carry this. We carry this as a 7-man protection, in-play action sometimes, but this is a shot play for us. So we are running shallow here. Our number 2 is running dig here, and we're putting our best player with speed on the post over the top. We're leaving both backs in. This is a 2-back set. We're leaving both backs in to protect, and we are going post, dig, shallow, and trying to throw the shot over top. All right, so why are we doing that? All right, we think we're getting middle of the field open. We think we're getting a 2-safety structure. We think they've got 1 safety that after 10 yards has to play 2 vertical. So when we run the dig, all we're going to do is read that safety right there. If it's a 2 high, middle of the field, open structure, if that safety plays the dig, we throw the post. If he hangs, we then read the dig to the shallow. So you can see here progressing. If he were to play the post, quarterback would look at the dig. The dig's covered by linebackers. We need to keep working the shallow here, and we would throw the shallow. So all he's doing is reading. That safety came down. Quarterback decides to go over his head to throw the post ball. All right, so that's just an old-fashioned post, dig, shallow. All right, a lot of people run it, Mills concept you can call it, or however you want to look at it. It's an over-the-middle flood because you've got 3 routes, 1 deep, 1 intermediate, 1 short. All right, but it's not a tough concept. It's a tough concept to throw for 2 reasons. All right, number 1, it takes time and protection, so we leave both backs in. This is a 7-man protection. Number 2, our quarterback is 5'8", seeing this route and where he's got to throw it to, and then having the arm strength to throw it because it ends up being, all right, he's throwing that from about almost, he's throwing that with his back foot on the 21-yard line. Okay, so that ball is being caught. So he's throwing that ball about 29, 39. He's got to be able to throw it about 45 to 48 yards in the air. But the bigger thing is our kid was so small that we had a hard time seeing over the middle, so post routes weren't great to us. But we had explosive players that the post route was good for us in theory. We just couldn't protect it a lot of the times, and we couldn't not only could we not protect it, but a lot of times we couldn't see the post route over the middle. All right, so this is going to be 4 verticals. This is, again, a 1 high team. So here's your safety sitting in the middle favoring this hash. All right, so this split, we need to work this stem down to the bottom of these numbers. He's probably going to turn it into a comeback because it's off. You're going to get a comeback up here. All right, you're going to get that comeback. You should get this working the hash mark there, and you should get this one working the hash mark there. Probably going to get the back end protection. So now our bottom slot releases inside, which I'm okay with. But now that he's released inside, he's got to get back on his landmark. All right, so you can see, all right, not bad. He's right about on the hash mark. Quarterback throws the ball right on the landmark, so actually not bad. I'm good with this. Here's why the ball's thrown there. Look where the free safety is. Look where he leans. Quarterback looks him off a little bit. So the quarterback opens up by looking to the boundary to get that free safety to hold and lean. And then he comes right back to the hole shot right there. All right, because we know for a fact, and this is why we carry it, if it's 1 high, we know that they've got a seam issue here, and we know that they've got a seam issue, all right, there. So that's why we're carrying a play versus 1 high. So beat it there and then get back on your stem. Good read, good throw. Just got to be able to execute that, but all in all, not bad. All right, so now you're going to get curl wheel. We talked about this on the video. We talked about it as far as the snag is concerned. I don't know if we talked about it from the curl standpoint, but again, anytime you think you're getting man-free stuff or potential man, you set it up with rub. So we're just going to run curl here, and we're going to take the number 2 on the wheel to create the rub right there and then throw it over the top. All right, so we're just trying to get that man-to-man rub, and then you can see because of the concept and because we know the coverage we've been getting, and this is probably something we might have freezed to make sure we got it right, we left both backs in. So we left the sniffer in and the tailback in because we knew this was a ball that we were definitely throwing over the top. We knew it was 1 high. We knew the coverages we've been getting. We knew the corner was kind of hanging on the curl route, so we knew we'd get our guy matched on the safety. All right, and we like that. We like that matchup. All right, but that's when you're anticipating man, or you're getting man, carrying some things in your package, working on your splits a little bit, running some rubs, running some snag wheel, curl wheel, things where you're creating natural pick rub plays for those receivers to create separation versus man. All right, so this is 2-back curl spot flat. Okay, so you're going to see our sniffer work. So you're going to get a curl route here. You're going to get a spot route in here. And you're going to get our fullback out to the flat there. Again, now what you can see is, all right, they've got some, they've got some pattern match problems here because nobody matches the fullback to the flat. All right, so they almost have the spot route underneath doubled. We've got the curl if we want it, but nobody matches. The quarterback ends up taking the curl throw, which is okay because there's nobody in that window. But when you're pushing guys to the flat that they don't match, you want to get that ball out there and as wide as possible, because if you get it out there in space going wide, eventually they're going to have to match it. And then when they match it, it makes bigger passing windows. All right, so let's see. All right, so it's kind of hard to tell from this look, but this should be the tackle locked on him, the guard locked on him. Center should be working this side with this guard and tackle working out. And then we have a backside back on that side to pick up anything 4 weak, 4 off the edge. That's all in all, curl spot flat, easy route. All right, get it to your playmakers, get it in their hands, put them in space. All right, so here we are again, 2 back the other way. All right, again, same concept. All right, so you can see what they've done is they've walked the backer up over the top. All right, and they're going to send that backer off the edge. Well, that's fine. Nobody matches the fullback. The quarterback just puts a ball on him. And again, I'd like to see his foot in the ground, throwing his ball with some velocity, because look at the issues they got. You've got a guy pushing the flat. They have nobody matching that. The nearest defenders are 15 yards away. Here's your spot. Here's your curl. You get that guy the ball in space like that, he's got to wait on it a little bit, which makes it a little bit of an issue. And then he runs back inside, which is not great. But again, you could see you're just forcing the defense to match patterns. So you're forcing them off the blitz to either play man and be good in man coverage. Or if they zone blitz, you're trying to put a void where a spot, a curl, and a flat, if they've only got a seam curl player and an inside, 3 hook player, because they send 5 and they zone drop it. You're just trying to create space. So we're trying to create this in here. We're trying to create this here. And then we're trying to create that there to get space. All right, so you put it on the fullback. Easy. All right, 8-9 yard gain. Get yourself close to the sticks. All right, here's this is going to be 3-man snag with the back pushed. So you can see the center turning this way now. So now this is the zone side. So C gap, B gap, A gap there. This is the man side, man side. Back is going to push. We're going to go snag, corner. And what you're going to see is you're going to see this corner here follow the snag route. So on rhythm, you're going to see the quarterback throw the corner right there. All right, so this corner kind of starts to follow a little bit, but then he sits on the tailback in the flat. All right, so less follow on the snag and more sit kind of in a cover 2 type theory, but he's down here not bailing off the ball. So the quarterback now knows on rhythm, I have a chance right now. All right, throw him open away from 15 right now. All right, so I put that on there so you guys could see the timing and the rhythm of a quarterback throwing a corner out. All right, so here we are again. I think we're going to get curl flat again. All right, so again, just look at the spacing of it now. Look at the underneath defenders. So they're playing with 2 high safeties. All right, they've got 2 backers underneath right here. We are sending a spot with a curl with a fullback in the flat. They're going to be a man short unless they spin down. Okay, so this backside backer opens up to take the spot. This front side apex widens out with the fullback. So now if he goes to the fullback and he sits on the spot, watch the window you're going to create right there. And again, that's not a tough throw for a quarterback. Punch, 1, 2, 3. Back foot in the ground. The rhythm here is pretty good by the quarterback. He sees it. Punch, 1, 2, back foot. Boom, ball out. That's big when you're talking to quarterbacks about rhythm, ball out, when the ball's coming out. So This kid was a senior, good player, a lot of moxie to him, a lot of competitive spirit, a lot of guts, a lot of fight. So he understood some of these things. He wasn't great with it all the time, but he was good enough to understand when the ball's got to come out, and that was a good job there. So this is going to be 3-man snag with a tailback push and 2x2. All right, so you're going to get corner here. All right, you're going to get tailback push wide, and you're going to get snag underneath there. All right, so look at the outside backer match. See this right here? Outside backer matching the tailback. All right, corner sinking to help this safety who's already beat on the corner up. Look how bad this safety's beat on the corner up. All right, so if this corner is not back here, we could throw this ball all day. This kid is spun like a top, but because of the way they match and because that backer doesn't push, look at the snag. All right, that throw's easy. That's stealing that throw. And so again, it's just understanding this is kind of the movement key right here for the cue. If this guy moves to match the back, he knows that he's going to be able to work the snag. He's peeking out here at the corner early so that he understands if the corner is bailed off, we're not even worrying about throwing the 2. If the corner's up, we might get a ball to 2. And then he's just reading movement key. Out, bang, throw it. All right, that's good rhythm. That's good timing. And if you could do that a bunch and force them, now you got to force them to match it a different way. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing to the top. So we're going to push the back here. We're going to take this guy and run the corner, and then we're going to run the wiggle concept. So we're going to take our best player on the snag and settle him. We're going to make this player right here match it, and then because middle of the field is open, we're going to rip him. All right, so here comes 20. Snag and go. Middle of the field open. All right, that's why we're doing it. So we know we know to the top, that's your safety on the top. To the bottom, they went down here and played man-to-man and locked it. All right, sorry, that's a bad drawing. But that's their guys on the bottom. There's 4 down, 2 in the box, apex. All right, so we know right there, 4 down, 5, 6, apex is 7, 8, 9, safety and corner, 10, 11. We know there's not a person standing anywhere in the vicinity back here. So we're going to go to the wiggle. Snag. Quarterback uses his feet. Good job. All right, a little bit underthrown, but all in all, not bad. And that's what we call the wiggle concept. It's like a snag burst. All right, this, I believe, is going to be our spot. So now we're going spacing. So what we're going to do, instead of the corner, we're going to take him in here, spot. We're going to take him in here, snag. We're going to push him wide, and we're going to see how the defense reacts. Watch the outside backer pushes, inside backer blitzes. Throw the spot right now. Perfect. They don't have enough defenders to cover it because the inside backer fires off the edge. That's the side the quarterback's reading anyways. The apex pushes to match. So now the only thing they're left with is the backside backer there. Backside backer's not going to get there in time. Rhythm throw, blitz, push, spot. All right, can't ask for better than that. All right, now we're going to show you one more where off the concept we put a fullback in the mix. Again, middle of the field open. So safety over 2, corner over 1, right? Apex defender, that's going to be like a curl flat type of deal here. All right, middle of the field open. So we're going to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to push the back to force and make it look like the snag. We're going to run the snag here. We're going to run the corner here. And then we're going to take this kid and run him right down the middle of the field. So now, again, if their Mike linebacker was smart enough to wall this 3 coming vertical, all right, and he collisions it, and then he lets it go, which allows us to throw the touchdown. But here's something you could do if you got Mike linebackers that are pushing. Again, if this apex widens out with the back, this Mike has to push to the snag route. If you put a fullback vertical and he walls it off as like he does here. So watch. All right, so look at what I'm talking about now. Match the back. Mike push, but look at him wall the fullback. If they match the back and the Mike walls, nobody can defend the snag route. All right, so if you can understand what I'm saying there, it's just a thought process of what you're trying to do with coverages. If the back is wide and they match the back and they then, all right, wall the vertical route, nobody can cover the snag. But the quarterback is good enough to hold on to this and wait, because after this collision, this backer lets him go, and our quarterback is smart enough to hold on and make a play right there. All right, push. All right, now we're just running, all right, a little bit of adjusted version. This is kind of like a stick variation, where instead of running snag and corner, we're running hitch by 2 or stick by 2, fade by 1, fullback or tailback in the flat. So all the landmarks are the same as the 3-man snag. Instead of 1 running snag and 2 running corner, 1 runs vertical, 2 runs stick. And now for the quarterback, it's the same thing. Apex pushes to the back, put the ball on the slot. All right, that's easy. Same movement key. Look at him. He pushes to the back. The ball goes right there. All right, so he pushes. Boom, ball comes out. Put the ball in one of your better players' hands, and there you get 13, 14 yards after the catch on a 6-yard completion. All right, so I hope this helps you guys. Hopefully you can see some of the good and the bad when you go through those things. We're not very good in protection last year. We were not very good at all in protection. Quarterback had some issues throwing ball to the flats, out to the running back in space where we need to get it. But you can see the philosophy and the execution of what we're trying to do. Horizontal east-west reads. We're trying to push it back to make them widen. And then when they widen, we're trying to bring a route right back underneath where they left. So it's just simple spacing theories. So you can see what we're trying to get to. And then when we attack vertically with 4 verticals, you could see what we were trying to do with the seams, and then what we were trying to do with the comebacks, and then all the off the 3-man snag, all the wrinkles we had with the wiggle and some of the wheel routes we ran, and then the shake route for a touchdown. So, you know, the philosophy's there. We got to get better with the execution. We got to get better with the protection, but we're not a huge drop back team. So, you know, hopefully if we're going to try and throw the ball in the future, we got to work on getting better at those things. But I appreciate everything you guys do. Thanks for being part of Patreon. Hope this video helps you out. Hope these video clips help you guys out. And I'll catch you guys next time. Remember, you won't play well until you play fast. See you.